All right, let's move into college football, and we only have two games to pick this week. So, obviously, I touched on the Penn State loss to Oregon, but really kind of decompressing from a wild weekend that was with Georgia losing to Alabama again. We saw the Tennessee almost lose to Mississippi State, a close one with Texas A&M and Auburn. Of course, we did see LSU lose to Ole Miss. Big game. Brian strikes again there. LSU fans very unhappy. Yeah, again, Brian, you said it best, my
man. And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here
James.
Again, talking about the same things.
But Notre Dame dismantled an entire program. Arkansas fires their coach and multiple assistant coaches this week. So from the week that was in college football, we don't have to go long form, but anything you guys besides the Penn State Oregon game, anything that you guys wanted to touch on from this past weekend?
Well, I just wanted to say, from the week before when Jim and I were, kind of talking up Illinois, and, this is the year going to get Indiana, and like this should have been the college game day game. And for them, for them to come out against USC and play a complete game, stick in there, through the good and the bad. It was kind of up and down for them. But then to come out on top of that one and kind of upend the front half of USC's schedule here, I thought that was a pretty impressive win for the University of Illinois. I mean, they had a few moments late where they could have just lied down and been like, "That's it," right. Here they come. They're just better than us too, and they didn't get pushed around. They fought hard at home and sent the Trojans back with a sad trip to California. So that was one I thought stood out to me as like kind of one of those technical upsets. I mean, 23 over 21, so nothing huge, but something that kind of got lost in the fold with some of the bigger games happening this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Doesn't help Notre Dame in the long run, but
but there's only so much help you're going to get. You're going to have
right, and that's the thing is Notre Dame, they lost the games they lost. You have 10 games in front of you. You've won two out of you're two out of two.
A&M almost screwed us too.
They sure did, but again, when I look at it, I see Notre Dame fell to 24 in the AP, and I know the AP poll and the college football playoff sometimes will be different, but the way I see it is this: Notre Dame fell to 24 when they lost to Texas A&M. You basically have 13 spots to gain over the next 10 games because you figure you have to get to number 11 because that group of 5 school is going to get
USF or whoever it is going to sneak in there.
So you have to move up 13 spots. They're 21 this week, so they've moved up 3 spots in 2 weeks. Tennessee almost loses, Georgia Tech almost loses, USC lost. That's why you moved up. You got to win your games. That's what Notre Dame can control. I know a lot of Notre Dame fans are like very upset USC lost, which feels like such a weird thing to say. But the task in front of you is win. You did that so far. Boise this weekend. Hopefully we can do it again. In the green. That's why I'm wearing it. But EJ, anything else from a wild week 5 in college football?
Yeah, nothing specific to games, obviously. Just the whole, the title of the show tonight, it applies to not just the NFL, but even college football. There's no runaways here. Everybody's in it. Like, Notre Dame could easily get back in this thing. I don't know what their schedule is right now. I don't know what consequential games are on the schedule left, but by the time we get to November, this picture could be a whole lot different than it is now. And I just think that this season in general has been like, okay, a team loses, okay, cool. Does that really hurt you really in the big picture? Not really. Now, if you lose 2 games, then you got a problem. But even if you lose 2 games,
right?
It seems like Notre Dame,
you're still you lose to how big you. I mean, Notre Dame lost to the current number 3 and number 6 teams by 4 points.
If you ask me in a nutshell, who is the best team in college football? I can't answer that question for you. I really can't. Ohio State by default because they're champs, but are they significantly better than Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio
Oregon,
State's
Ole
the
Miss.
answer right now, just because
It is.
it's
But
kind of
it's
like until someone beats them, and
right. But it's
they look
Sean,
good.
but you agree that that's a by default answer, right? Not because it's like, oh, this is
It
this
is.
dominant team.
I think arguments could easily be made for the University of Miami right now, the way that defense is playing.
Yeah,
I
and the roll line. And the roll
yeah,
line, too.
they're not letting anybody through, and no one's stopping them from getting through. So
No.
I mean, that's usually a pretty good formula.
Yep.
So
I agree.
I like the Canes right now. I do.
Yeah, it's the college football world is, and again, in the transfer era, in the NIL era, I think this is going to be the norm. I really do.
I love it.
It's leveling the playing field, because look, I know some of it's partially in humor, some of it may be reality, but when everybody can do what the best teams in college have done for decades, and I'm not just saying the SEC, so I don't want any SEC fans to say that I'm accusing them of anything, but let's be honest. Every major college football team for a very long time has had boosters, has had people who will meet recruits at airports and make sure that they have things taken care of and meals taken care of and things like that. It's the reality of the world. Now it's just legal, and there's budgets, and it's kind of the Wild West. So until there's like salary caps, it feels like such a weird thing to say with college.
Right. They'll start regulating a bit as they let it kind of, settle down.
Yeah. But this is the new reality. And I think it makes for, you may not see that dominant team or conference anymore, but for me, I think it makes a more entertaining college football landscape. So
like on Friday night when we lost to Virginia, I had to catch myself, because I at first I was like, oh shit, season's over. I go, wait, no, it's not, because you know, if you beat Miami next week, that almost absolves you, because
you're right back
because and we'll get the predictions later on, but let's say they win against Miami on Saturday in Tallahassee. Now you got wins against Alabama and Miami that look great on your resume.
Right.
So
unless Bama loses to Vanderbilt, but
it's happened before. It's happened before, and in recent years too, in fact. So
for sure. All right. Speaking of those games, let's go to them. We start Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. Basically, if you want to watch the biggest games in college football, lock in on ABC, because that's where they are this week. In fact, I should probably play the ABC.
Put a classic one, Keith Jackson.
The college football and ABC music, because that's where we are at this point. We're living on ABC this weekend. We start number 16 Vanderbilt. They are 5-0. They travel to number 10 Alabama, who is 3-1, and a 10.5 point favorite. You're over under on this one, 56.5. Like I said, 3:30 Eastern time. EJ.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm just impressed with Alabama, what they've done since the Florida State loss. I'm gonna keep riding this Bama train. Give me Bama to win and to cover, and give me the under.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I think last week, I was able to talk Alabama up as much as I could before eventually going with the incumbent, and kind of doing what EJ said with Ohio State and just taking the, by default, I'll go with Georgia. Not going to do that anymore. I'm gonna ride right with EJ. I think this Alabama team is real good, and I think they flexed their muscles even harder this past week. Give me Alabama and to cover, and give me the
Alabama.
First of all, give me the Alabama, and then give me the over.
I think the over is the play. I feel like that's just generally the play in most college football games, big college football games. We see a lot of offense. Call me again. You can call me a hater, whatever you want. I'm not sold that Alabama is back. I'm not sold
Alabama.
That Georgia was great. Georgia lost to a arguably worse Alabama team last year. Again, Kirby has a Bama problem. So I'm going to take Vanderbilt at the very least to cover 10.5. I think they actually win the game and just continue the chaos that is college football so far this year.
SEC just starts crumbling.
Let me ask you. Everybody's delight, right? Let me ask a question, Jim. what would it take for you to bind Alabama? What would it take for you?
Probably, just another win this week, and do it. I don't not necessarily like overly convincingly, but here's the deal: you lost in pretty big fashion to Florida State to start the year. Sure, you bounced back big wins against UL Monroe and Wisconsin, who just stinks. Like Wisconsin, that's
been good in a while, right?
I say this isn't like the 1990s Barry Alvarez Wisconsin teams that's winning Big Tens. This is a bad football school all of a sudden.
Which, by the way, is Ohio State's prep game for Penn State. This is I looked at this.
Okay.
They got Wisconsin the week before.
And then you have a close win against Georgia, and obviously a better opponent than you've played so far. But again, is it Kirby Smart has a Bama problem, and Bama's just actually not that good? So Mike did text me. Obviously, he's still not able to join us. He said his good from the week was UVA finding a way to hold off Florida State, but his hot take is the Vanderbilt money line. So he has Vanderbilt winning as well. I'm not super locked into them pulling the upset. It's my prediction, but I think they do cover the 10.5. Also, Yankees dropping game one, and that is that is when they had bases loaded with no outs, and then the Red Sox locked in and got the victory. So, all right. So Red Sox up 1, Cubs up 1, and Tigers up 1. Although they got the scare in Cleveland, and Dodgers Reds are currently in the first inning.
All ESPN, right? All ESPN.
I think the Cubs Padres was ABC actually. Oddly enough.
Okay.
But the Dodgers Reds, they'll be moving on to ESPN here.
Disney, still Disney. Okay, cool.
Yeah, goes off. All right, and then the other one, obviously EJ alluded to it a couple minutes ago. Number 3, Miami. They go on the road. Miami. Thank you, D-Bob. The 4-0 Miami Hurricanes and a 4.5-point road favorite travel to Doak Campbell Stadium. Number 18, Florida State 3-1. You're over under on this one, 54.5 Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. EJ.
My favorite rivalry in all of sports. Of all the sports rivalries I've been betting my entire 45 years of existence, this is my favorite one. And I'm
because both teams are home teams.
No, I was raised in all those wide rides back in the day. The wide rides and all that stuff. I was invested at 10 years old, 11 years old. And I'm more mad at the loss because I wanted both these teams to be unbeaten. This game would mean even more. It's still a big game. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah, number 7 versus number 2 would have been much.
No, bigger. But there's no doubt that Florida State wins against Virginia. They're in the top 5 because obviously Oregon losing and Georgia losing. So it would have been even a bigger game, the biggest game in probably 20 years. So that's where I feel more cheated by that because Florida State looked ahead a week. We could have had an even bigger game. Like I said, this rivalry used to decide the national championship picture pretty much. So, but like this is tough because I hate Miami, but they have been impressive, and where they're impressive the most, I just mentioned earlier, is in the trenches. Like offensive line, defensive line has been phenomenal. And if you go block for Carson Beck, rather, he's gonna shred you. But a game like this, you got to throw away all the strategy and all that stuff. These two teams are playing well, other than last week, playing their best they played in a while. So I'm gonna go straight homer here. Whatever. Florida State to win this game is because I want it to happen. Hope, please God, please. But the easy bet here, the best bet here is the over. Just give me a lot of scoring here. Give me the over in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, both teams obviously, having, I'd say overachieving years. I think Miami, I expected to be good with their overachieving, even my expectations as far as what I've seen on the field. And Florida State already beat one opponent that's better than them, I think, all around. But, you caught them early. You caught them by surprise. And now Florida State's getting their wheels going. But unfortunately for them, so is Miami. Give me the all-world defense, all-world offensive line, Miami Hurricanes, There's a hurricane coming to Tallahassee, and it is not going to slow down for 4 quarters. 4.5, I think, is. I mean, I think the bet of the game, like if it goes the way I'm thinking, is Miami with the point. Like I think 4.5 is a very easy coverable number, especially with that defense. So give me Miami with the Miami to cover, and the over under. I'll go with you on the over. I think there's a chance that if Miami's defense does what it can do and force some turnovers, I think they can slow that game down in the second half and make that tough. But you're right. I think the optics are take the over.
Isn't there all like no pun intended? Isn't there also a literal hurricane?
There's a hurricane to the east, but it's not going to affect this game.
Yeah, Tallahassee's on the panhandle, so.
Yeah, you're not even going to see much in the state of Florida.
Okay, a chance of showers, but yeah, nothing. Okay.
Yeah, it's headed north.
I was like, isn't there literally a hurricane headed north?
There is. There were 2. They were circling each other.
Well, tis the season. Well, and of course, every weatherman in America like 2 weeks ago was like, quiet hurricane season. I'm like, well, that's probably a dumb thing.
You woke that shit up. That's why.
that's probably a dumb thing to say. Look, there's a bit of homerism, so it's not like direct
Marge
with me here. Like I while Notre Dame has to do their job, it also helps if other people do theirs. So and I think this Saturday in Tallahassee, I'm with Sean. When I look at what these teams are, and even EJ, you touched on it, when you're looking at those battle points in a tight game, in a good game, the trenches is where it's won. I've seen firsthand, watching Notre Dame play the Hurricanes. They're really good in the trenches, and that's something that we have not said about Miami probably in a very long time. Any of the coaching ineptitudes that we've seen over the last couple of years so far have kind of gone away. This team looks locked in, so I'm going to take Miami to cover. I'm going to take them to win, and I will take EJ. You sound pretty convinced on the over. I'm going to take a slight over, just because of that Miami defensive play. But I do think that we get there.
So a slight, huh, Jim? Slight, little slight. All right.
Slight.
Okay.
But Devin has had Alabama in the first and Miami in the second here. So that is where we leave the world of college football